So, it's been a couple of weeks since the modding tools were out. Cyberpunk 2077 modding scene has yet again done some amazing progress, and we're one step closer to achieving the dream Cyberpunk modding setup. That's why today we'll focus on a few key aspects when it comes to modding, like immersion, more gameplay features, more character customization, and a few nice extras I believe you will appreciate. But what better way to bring your Cyberpunk visuals to the next level than with a brand new Alienware laptop? Also, a big thanks once more to Nvidia and Alienware for kindly sponsoring today's video. The X14 hits the sweet spot of ultimate GeForce gaming and impossibly slick design thanks to its innovative build, which turns this into the world's thinnest, fastest, and quietest range of laptops. Cyberpunk 2077 takes full advantage of the laptop's latest Nvidia RTX GPUs, delivering up to 60% additional performance boost while DLSS is active, all while still retaining a sharp and detailed image. Plus, the extra headroom is totally worth it, as you can now push that ray tracing on and get those really awesome realistic reflections and realistic shadows. So definitely check out GeForce ready laptops using my links below, and I'll give another big thanks to Alienware and Nvidia for sponsoring today's video. But let's begin with one of the first mods for this month that's quickly becoming one of my favorites, and this is called Night City Interactions. Just like what the name implies, this adds extra interactions around Night City like drinking spots, vistas, and even more location visits from the Edgerunners anime. The base game has a serious lack of interactivity when it comes to most of the bars in Night City, like you can't just sit by and grab a drink, for example. Well, with the mod installed, you can turn most of the popular spots like the Afterlife, Tom's Diner, even Lizzie's Bar, and so on into spots where you can finally sit down, have a drink, and even call friends over. This depends, of course, if you befriended these characters first, which should be easy to notice if they also pick up the phones when you call them. So if they do, you can head over to any of these locations, either grab a drink alone or better call them to join you over. The mod goes as far as letting you have any additional dialogues or conversations you left unchecked, so it feels immersive enough that you might otherwise not even know it's a mod that does all of this. Night City Interactions also adds the vistas from many of the Edgerunner Easter egg locations, which will now feature lean or sit animations or other kinds of ways to admire the exact camera locations as were shown in the anime. Like for example, totally Rebecca and Pillar's apartment or even Faraday's place in Charter Hill are just a few of the locations you can now stumble across. Now, if you want to bring this level of interactivity to the next level, you might also want to add the next couple of mods, one of which is called Street Vendors. This now turns most of the otherwise inactive vendors you find randomly in Night City into actual shopkeepers that sell items depending on their type, such as fast food and beverages. Not a big deal, but totally helps a ton with immersion. And the second one is called Talk to Me. Normally, pedestrians don't really react to you unless you purposefully bump into them or if you press the talk button. But with this mod installed, they are the ones that initiate conversations with you now, even from further away, which totally helps these crowds feel more alive. And not just that, many of the dialogues that they say are pretty well contextualized, so sometimes you might get an angry remark, get picked on, and I even heard a few offerings of all kinds of shady deals and substances among many other things. But coming up to number 2, the next category of mods is going to be all about expanding the gameplay, especially Cyberpsychosis. This mechanic probably skyrocketed in demand following Edgerunners. Well, it seems that a modder got sick of waiting for CD Projekt Red to do it and pretty much implemented their own version called Wannabe Edgerunner Cyberpsychosis mod. This adds a few cool extra mechanics, including a humanity meter that you can check in your cyber implants menu. This starts full when you lack any cyber implants, but gradually decreases as you lose humanity more and more with each install that you apply to V's body. So not only do you lose humanity as you install these, but you quite literally also get affected as you keep using the active ones like the Sandavistan, Berserkers, and other ones in there. And once the bar reaches critical levels, you'll start noticing all kinds of strange malfunctions and glitches, which can range from affecting your sight all the way up to hindering your stats. Furthermore, being evil and flatlining innocent civilians will further contribute to decreasing your humanity even more, which I found to be quite a nice touch and quite fitting to the lore. You can of course control all of these aspects in the mod settings page, including how much humanity you lose for each type of interaction. Now I'm going to show you another mod that can actually complement this even better, and that's going to be the System X, especially if you want to become Adam Smasher right away with all of the mods to install. So by default, this extends your operating system and hand slots to 2 and 3, but there are many patches on Nexus mods to increase all cyber inventory slots, so you can go way beyond what V can in the vanilla version. And yes, it totally works to further decrease humanity. I think it works very well with the Wannabe Edgerunners, to the point that you're going to be much more affected by the lack of humanity. My favorite interaction is finally being capable of having both gorilla arms and a rocket launcher implant installed at the same time. You can actually expand these slots right here to hold both of them exactly how it was in Edgerunners. This works especially well on the existing David and main build, which already uses some of these melee attacks and now also have the rocket launcher on top, which I think can create some nice gameplay moments in there. Now, coming up at number 3, let's talk about having more things to do in Cyberpunk. As someone who enjoyed working with the various fixers in Night City, I oftentimes wish there were more quests and things to complete for them. Luckily enough, a modder was of the same opinion, which is how the mod called Missing Persons Fixer Hidden Gems came to be. This turns the otherwise completely missable hidden gem interactions around Night City into actual fixer mini-missions. This includes all of those random bodies with loot and info shards you might have stumbled upon while exploring the open world. And normally there's no map indicator to show them unless you're literally in their vicinity, so the way the mod works is now you get a text message from their respective fixers with a small information where you need to head into in order to find them in the first place. There's about 190 of these in total, so not only do you get a ton of content in there that you might have otherwise completely skipped upon, many of these are also dependent on certain side gigs and side missions that you again might have not even known they were possible until you get the text message and the info from each of these fixers. So totally an immersive way of doing it, and you get the extra loot and the other benefits on top. But we talked about immersion, expanding the gameplay, adding new features. Let's also talk about expanding V's customization. There's a few mods that appeared in the past few weeks that I really came to appreciate, and one of them is called the CyberArms collection. This is probably the best and most user-friendly implementation of the huge collection of CyberArms of any mod I've seen so far. This basically uses the virtual store mod that you also have to have installed and the outfits tab in the character customizer. This way you can both equip and continue to have your normal clothing, including shirts and jackets, while the outfit tab can now be used to just have these extra CyberArms skins on your character. This results in being able to wear any other type of shirt or jacket, and these CyberArms will not disappear, they will still be there in full display. I think this is by far the most friendly way for the user to implement this without having to do any additional modding on top. By the way, if you want to also have the Adam Smasher skin that you saw in all throughout this video, I'm going to leave a link down below for a male V replacer. It's completely going to change your body while retaining a few extra features like the hair mod and a few more for the face, so you're not a complete clone of Adam Smasher. Works really well if you're planning on the Cyberpsycho mod build and just run with the whole system itself. And finally, coming up to the 5th category, if you ever enjoyed buying properties, and especially so if you liked V's mention from one of the endings, you were probably disappointed that CD Projekt Red never came back to implement that as a buyable property. Well, with the mod called V's Edgerunner Mansion Apartment DLC, that is now totally possible, and this now adds a purchasable lot that costs around 75,000 eddies. It also comes with a fully working elevator you can take from the street level all the way into the main area and vice versa. The mod author added some extra interactions in there too, and also some brand new features, including a few animations, but also access to character customization via the makeup kit, and also one of these wardrobes, which gives you access, of course, to the wardrobe feature. I think that's a nice touch, keeping up with all of the updates that were added in Cyberpunk so far, and none of these break the gameplay in any meaningful way. This is pretty much it with it. Let me know down below which one of these were your favorites, and I'll see you guys in the next video.